look, I've got to get some stuff done, and so do you, but I really have to say something about this coronavirus. Now, look, okay, going cashless can prevent coronavirus spread. Okay, there we are. Okay, they want to get rid of that. Okay, is that a problem, reaction, solution? Where is that one? Problem, reaction, solution, right? A strategy of creating a problem, waiting for an action, like crisis, everyone's buying toilet paper, and then take some solution, right? Oh, let's get rid of money, or let's take away people's rights, let's impose martial law, what have you, right? Okay, there you go, there's one of them. There's one of the motives to create a pandemic, okay? Now let's look into this. That's just a suspicion, it's a motive, and I would first of all immediately suggest to fight fire with fire by, look at this, I know there's an echo, I haven't got my audio sorted, but I'm not a professional YouTuber. Let's have a look.
Good at killing microbes, but it's the silver ions that they slowly release that do most of the damage. This means you don't necessarily need nanoparticles to make products that kill bugs using silver. For instance, the Michelin company Krypton makes commercial fabrics used everywhere from Hyatt hotels to McDonald's that use silver ions to inhibit bacterial growth.
So there you go. The technology's in use. Basically, silver is a antibacterial, probably antiviral, whatever. It's an antimicrobe substance, and it's already been in use in materials, and you can make money out of it. So that's what you do here. Turn all of your money into a anti-microbe swipe. So every time you handle money, you're killing germs on your hand. So that's how you fight fire with fire. And I'd like to ask people to point this out. Where was this place? This is Risk Bites, Silver Nanoparticles and Health, 7 things you should know. Okay, have a look at that. Spread it around. Start saying money should be made out of this, right? And fight fire with fire. Should be super fabric. Krypton super fabric. Money. And who knows, if there's enough silver in it, it actually could be worth something. Ironically. Okay, problem, reaction, solution. We've been through there. Now, here's another guy. Never believe anything until it is officially denied. So there's a lot of denial going on there in the mainstream media and from government authorities. And a great Australian philosopher, Kevin Bloody Wilson. Listen to the first verse of this song. I've come to the conclusion, because I get around a bit, that half of what you read is bull and the other half all shit. And the truth is really nothing like what you've probably read. Shit, I was there, I ought to know what was really said. Great philosopher. Kevin Bloody Wilson, look him up, he's a great Australian. Now, euphemism, not nism. I'd like to say nism, but it's mism. Basically, it's a word to make something sound less harsh, less blunt, right? Just to make it sound better, right? Okay, remember that word euphemism. Now, here we go. Here we have some euphemism from some shill site trying to play down how bad it is, right? Like allegations have a life of their own. Story. They're not saying it's a lie. Sequence differences are not unique to COVID-19. This is regarding the small motifs, very similar to the HIV. Here it is. In the coronavirus, 4 insertions in the COVID-19 through which the virus binds to a host cell. See that? Now take that. Virus binds to a host cell that are not present in other coronaviruses, but which look the same as the key structural proteins of HIV-1. And it's unlikely to be fortuitous in nature. Now that's what a website said, and this guy's trying to play it down, right? It's very shoddily done, blah, blah, blah. The sequences are not unique to COVID-19. Whatever, right? He's using euphemisms. He's not really proving anything. He's just downplaying it, right? Here's the original article, right, from BioRxiv. We're currently witnessing a major epidemic, novel virus. They called it 2019 because it was basically from that year. 4 insertions in the spike, blah, blah, blah. Everything he said there, right? I'm just going as fast as I can, so I'm talking a bit badly. Okay, the HIV thing. His 3D modelling suggests finding 4 unique insertions which have been identified similar to residues instructing proteins are highly unlikely to be fortuitous in nature, blah, 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 blah. Okay, right, so it looks like it's been engineered, okay? I think they've, what What have they done with this? I don't know. So somebody's had a look at it under a microscope, obviously, and it looks like it's engineered, and looks like a team in India, right, where this website's from. So there you go, and everybody's playing it down in the mainstream media and so on and so forth. Now the thing is, though, was it engineered? Well, look at this TV series from what is it? 2018. Okay, Korean Netflix show. I'll read out I've got the sound off because I'm getting an echo, but I'll try and read it out as I play it. But it looks like a mutant. Oh, God. What was that again? But it looks like a mutant coronavirus. Corona, then MERS. I don't know what MERS is. Haven't looked it up yet. MERS, SARS, the common flu. SARS stands for respiratory syndrome or something. It's not really a specific virus. They all fall in the same family with the same gene information. Oh, okay. The coronavirus attacks the respiratory system. Very hard to read. 215 MERS, blah, blah, blah. Mortality rate 20%. Not enough to be used as a weapon. This is a mutant virus. Someone tweaked it to increase the mortality. Blah blah. I know this is fiction, but gee, not a bad proposal. Predictive programming, perhaps, is what it's called. Okay, right there it is. You can check that out yourself. Have a look at it. Okay, so we've got suspicions of something that's been manipulated. Right, now, you could say, yeah, there's a motive. Yeah, there's a motive, a whole lot of motives that the authorities would want. You could say, yeah, okay, now, how about accidental? Let's look at this. This is what I'm going at with this video here. I'm looking at a situation where a vaccine went wrong. In the Philippines, a dengue vaccine called Dengvaxia, right? 11 out of 87 kids died. So this is how many people took the shot. Right, 11 out of 87. And the reason why is because none of them had dengue fever. Of these 11 kids that died, none of them ever had dengue fever before, and it hit their immune system really hard, and they had like a hyper-aggressive dengue fever that killed them probably 6 months later, I believe. I read about it in a newspaper when I was in the Philippines. Now, here's the article that is from. Now, it talks about 19 out of 154 children who died. You say, well, had got given a dose of Dengvaxia. Now, 19 out of these 54 children who died, right? Now, you've got to remember that that's not of people who had the dengue vaccine, right? They didn't die. These 154 children did not die of dengue fever. It says here that the other 135 deaths were from non-dengue cases, right? Other things like heart disease, pneumonia, central nervous system infections, leukemia, asthma, and so on, right? So this is a bunch of people who showed up at the hospital among all sicknesses that kill children, and the ones that died of dengue fever all had the Dengvaxia vaccine. Basically, that's what it's saying. So it was pretty serious. And here comes the euphemisms, the playing down of the effects and so on. There are no reported deaths. See, as far as we made aware of, that's code. You've got to look at the code, read between the lines. That just means that they've dismissed what this guy is saying, right? That's all that means. This guy here, all that evidence, dismissed, so therefore you get to say, as far as we are made aware, right? Because it's not official by some shill who's sitting in a high office in the administrators of administrative administration in the office of Shillery, right, high up. So he's not the official doctor, right? So they get to say stuff like this. Look at that. They always precede what they're saying. So if it turns out that they get busted, they say, well, I didn't lie at the time. I didn't know because blah, 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 right? There are no reported deaths. Bullshit. So there's some evidence of vaccines gone wrong and euphemisms and cover-ups and so on and so forth. Now, back to the point where we had some, where was it? Insertions. Where's all that? We looked at some insertions into the, it's probably bullshit. Insertions. Here we go. The insertions bit here. Now, let's look at what an adjuvant is, right? And what's added to a vaccine? It's like something they call it stimulate. Another euphemism. It's actually to irritate the immune system to get it to respond. So anyway, here's some toxic metals and so forth, like aluminium and so on and so forth. Synthetic DNA, bacteria, mimics bacterial and viral. Right? Here's an example of a viral, how do you say that thing? Adjuvant. Right? Now, here's an example of how toxic these things are. This one is a very serious toxin, ethyl mercury. How it's an organic. It's an organic. Methyl and ethyl mercury are very different. However, they are both organic. At high exposure levels, methyl mercury can be toxic. Yeah, blah blah blah. Right? Okay. So let's see. Look at this lady. She was a scientist of some sort, and she got a few drops of this methyl mercury on her hand in the lab, dimethyl mercury, right? And she was wearing gloves too, like rubber gloves, and it went straight through it. She washed her hands, all that sort of stuff, and died a horrible death. You don't want to read about it. It's horrible. And like it took a while to destroy her central nervous system, but it completely destroyed it, and she's dead just from a couple of drops while wearing gloves. So here it is. It's an organic compound, the ethyl mercury, and that's the sort of stuff they use in vaccines to, and that's what's been linked to autism. But they also use other things to irritate the immune system. And that, if I look at this document here, mucus, right? Adjuvants. Here we go. All right. Now, there's that mercury one there, ethyl mercury, and blah blah blah. Now, mucosal, which obviously is related to SARS, respiratory illness, mucosal immunity, blah blah blah, microbial. Now look at this. They're using cholera toxins and modified coli, escherichia. So they're using biological adjuvants, right? And we come back to that article here, where we've been found out that the COVID-19 virus has been played with. So it may have well been a COVID-19 adjuvant that was used to activate a flu vaccine virus, flu vaccine, right? An adjuvant for a flu vaccine. This is one of the possibilities, because we're not getting told the truth, obviously. So I'm proposing that, aside from being taken advantage of for problem reaction solution, this may have been a bit of a cover-up for a vaccine gone wrong, where the COVID-19 virus was engineered and implanted into a flu vaccine as an adjuvant to stimulate, or rather irritate, the immune system into action. Now, which vaccines are mandatory? See, 2017, the Italian government made vaccines against 10 diseases compulsory for children and so on. This is so this country, Italy, has mandatory vaccination, and guess what country is suffering severely from COVID-19? Italy. And we have a flu vaccine stockpile to double this season. This is going into the flu season last year, published on 31st of October 2019, right? China, there you go. So I'm trying to join the dots here. No, coronavirus isn't the same as we've just pointed out, that an adjuvant is attached to a vaccine. It doesn't have to be the same as the flu, and this is from the official website of the World Health Organization. Can ultraviolet light kill it, and all this? They don't say whether it can or can't. They just say don't use it, right? Okay. So that's just a euphemism. Doesn't actually say what it probably does, right? You've got to read between the lines. So another thing you can use against them is, well, if cash needs to go, well, so do the fingerprint scanners at the bloody airport. Or get your money made out of krypton superfabric impregnated with silver. Ion technology. So where are we at? We're all way down here. So you've got to use their bloody bullshit against them. There's some stories about patents going on regarding COVID-19. I couldn't find any information on that, but I invite other people to do some research because, I'm getting this stuff from Google searches, and I'll tell you what, it's pretty hard because they put all the propaganda at the top of the page. Oh, really hard to get the information. And there you have it. So back to the start, I'm suspecting that it's either a problem reaction solution or that is, and more likely, a flu vaccine gone wrong because it had an adjunct in it that was made from COVID-19, and therefore it probably was patented as well. So there you go. There's my wrap up right there. But at the very least, at least push this because it'll counteract this cashless society nonsense, right? Just push, hey, we need to get our money made out of silver ion technology fabric. That way, all of our money will be like a disinfectant wipe. Beautiful. So that's all I got to say, and good luck with that.